Hi guys, I'm Richard Winstone, the Regulator Guy. I have a lot of updates for you today. They're mostly positive, which is fantastic. I have one big announcement at the end of this video, so please do stay tuned to that, or check the description below and I'll let you know what minute and second it is at if you just want to skip to it. But it just means I'm just going to jump straight in and start talking to you. So the first thing I want to mention is that there is competition back in the energy switching market in tariffs, which is fantastic. There have been two tariffs released today, one by OVO, one by EDF, and they're both about £150 cheaper than what the October price cap is going to be. So if you're still on a variable rate tariff, now is a great time to switch. If you switch to the British gas tariff or any other fixed tariff in the last 2 weeks, I know we've been talking about that for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and it closed a couple of days ago. If you switched in the last 14 days and you're thinking that you want to get your extra savings by moving to one of these even cheaper tariffs, you can still do that. There's a 14-day cooling off window on any new tariff that you sign up for. That's 14 days where you're allowed to change your mind and switch to somewhere else without incurring the exit fees. So don't worry if you have recently just switched, you can move over to these extra ones. If you don't want to, then you can stay with the British gas tariff or any other fixed rate tariff you've got. They're going to be cheaper than the price cap, you're still saving money. But these new tariffs that have been released are £150 cheaper than the October price cap, and across a year you're saving almost £200 because the price caps are going to go up in January and potentially in April as well. So if you haven't seen it yet, there's a link to the article that I wrote this morning in the description below or in the blog, in the petition update, wherever you're seeing this video. You can click that and you can see the prices of the two tariffs, how you can get them. The OVO one, which is very, very slightly cheaper than the EDF one, is a USwitch exclusive. So please use the links in my blog and you can get there. The EDF one you can get either via their website directly, through USwitch directly, through the links in my blog to USwitch, however you want. There's some key differences on customer services, exit fees, and I even go into the blog into how it affects each of you dependent on your usage, whether you're a high usage household, low usage household, whether you're electricity only or dual fuel. So please do give the blog a quick read. It will give you some sort of insight as to what you might be looking for and which tariff might be better for you. We are coming up to the price cap change. On the 1st of October, your bills will be going up by about 10%. The price cap goes from $15.60 up to $17.17. So there's a £150 increase there. You can stop that increase effectively by switching to one of those two tariffs I just mentioned, the OVO or the EDF one. It takes about 10 minutes and it will save you a lot of money. So I highly recommend it. Please do that this weekend, today, immediately, right now, whenever's most convenient for you. But if you're going to do it on the weekend, set a reminder because the tariffs don't last forever, as we saw with the British gas one. Right, so that's the competitive side covered, which is great. I'm really excited to see that there are cheap prices coming back into the market. And there's a reason for that. I want to give you an update on what's happening in the energy market. So the price cap has a time delay on it. Ofgem look back about 6 months and they see what wholesale energy was doing then, and then they set the price caps coming up. So we know we're seeing a price increase on Tuesday. Every expert believes there's going to be another increase on the 1st of January, and most experts believe there's probably going to be an increase, or maybe it'll stay around level in April. And that's because we know what the wholesale prices were doing historically. But right now today, wholesale prices are falling, which is fantastic for two reasons. So first of all, it means there can be competition in the market. That's why we've got this OVO and EDF competing tariffs out right now, because a lot of the customers are still on variable tariffs. Which means they're paying the price cap. It's the expensive tariff. But where wholesale prices are so much lower than what the energy suppliers are charging on their variable tariffs, they can put out fixed rate tariffs which are cheaper. So there's going to be more competition in the market. I'm hoping to see more competitive tariffs coming out over the next month. A week ago, I didn't think this was going to be the case, but as it stands, wholesale market prices are dropping, and therefore we're likely to see competitive fixed rate tariffs coming out. That doesn't mean you should hold on and wait for them to come to see if they get cheaper. I think if you're risk averse like I am, fix your tariff today. It's £150 cheaper than what the October price cap is going to be. It's a good saving, especially for those on the winter that were on winter fuel payments are now missing it. So I know the government's taken those away, Please, if you know anybody, if you are somebody that was getting the winter fuel payments but aren't anymore, switch to a fixed rate tariff, one of these two. It won't give you the same benefit as what the winter fuel payment would have done, and the benefit is spread out across 12 months instead of just the winter period. But £150 saving, £200 saving on your energy bills will cover half of that winter fuel payment that you're not getting anymore. It's a positive step. So please do, if you do know anybody that's no longer getting that payment and might not be proactive enough to seek out a fixed rate tariff, send them this video, send them my blog, just go around and help them do it yourself. Help them out to cut their energy bills and give them a bit of assistance financially over this next year. Thank you. So yeah, the wholesale energy market looks like it's moving in the right direction, which is great for us. The first reason that's great is because of the competitive tariffs we'll see now. And the second reason is that in 6 to 9 months, when the price cap is being set by Ofgem, then they're going to look back and see these cheap prices, and the price cap should come down next summer, hopefully. As I said, the wholesale market is very volatile. It might be coming down this week and then be going back up again next week. I don't know, and I can't predict the future, but whilst it is coming down and there are cheap fixed rate tariffs that are being offered, this is a positive indicator for all of us. So hopefully we're moving in the right direction. Right, I also want to talk to you about a response I sent to Ofgem this weekend. If you're not subscribed to my blog, you may not have seen it. There's, again, a link in the petition update and in the description below this video explaining what that is. So the consultation that Ofgem have posted is a statutory consultation. They have two types of consultation. There's a policy consultation, and that's when we get to help them shape policy. And a statutory consultation is after the policy consultation, when they've pretty much made up their mind and they're just telling us what they're going to do. And we do get to give evidence, but only in extreme circumstances will they even pay attention to what we're saying. This was a statutory consultation, so I wasn't expecting to make any changes. And even if it was a policy consultation, I wouldn't want to make changes. They are consulting on a supplier of last resort offset levy offset. That is effectively forcing energy suppliers to sign a contract with network operators to say that if they collapse, if they go under financially, then the network operator will be listed as an unsecured debtor, and the network operator can claim supplier of last resort costs from the energy supplier. The reason that's important, and the reason I find that fantastic, is when we had the 30 energy suppliers that collapsed before, 35, 36 I think it was, we paid every penny of the supplier of last resort costs, about £2.5 billion. We paid for that. They went onto our bills, and every household paid around £94 across a year to cover those costs. But those suppliers that collapsed, they didn't necessarily collapse because they ran out of money. They collapsed because they thought they were going to run out of money. So they can just pack it in, declare a bankruptcy and go home. But they hadn't run out of money, so there's still money in the bank. So what happens with that money is that they pay off all of their debtors, and then the rest of it just goes to their shareholders. So we're all incurring £2.5 billion of costs because these suppliers have collapsed, but the shareholders of those suppliers have got nice big fat paydays. From Ofgem's investigation, at least 14 of the suppliers that collapsed ended up paying something to their shareholders. And if that something had gone towards the supplier of last resort costs, about 60% of those costs wouldn't have hit us. Over £1 billion, £1.5 billion, give or take, wouldn't have hit us. That's gone out to supplier shareholders for suppliers that collapsed during the crisis. That's not fair. We shouldn't have had to pay that bill. And Ofgem are now stopping that. Basically, that's what this rule will do. And I think that's brilliant. My response was just a nice email saying, yeah, this is great. I think it's a bit late. It's unfortunate you didn't have this in place before. But that's kind of how good regulatory practice gets put into place. They learn from their mistakes. They're fixing it. If it happens again, we won't be as financially liable for the energy crisis, which I think is obviously a brilliant thing. So if you want to get involved with that, I did post a small blog. I haven't copied and pasted my email that I've sent to them because it was just a few paragraphs saying this is good and I agree with it. But in the blog, I tell you the email address you can email them at, and you can show your support, or you can tell them you don't agree with it. It's your choice. We have a couple of weeks. I think it's October 12th that consultation closes, and you can share your opinions with Ofgem. So please do. Right, so other announcements for this weekend, things you need to consider. On the 1st of October, it's Tuesday, obviously price cap is going up. On the Monday, as late in the day as possible, if you do not have a smart meter, you need to do your meter readings. And that's because the supplier, well, if they don't get a meter reading, they'll estimate when you switched over, and you may end up paying the higher rates for energy that you used in September. So if you do it as late as possible on the Monday, then it's going to be as close to accurate as possible and you're going to pay the right prices. So please do that. Additionally, I've written a blog post about the importance of boiler insurance. We're coming into the colder months now. I'm double layered because of how cold it is. And I know about you, but I'm trying to wait as long as possible to turn my boiler on, turn my heating on. And so it's important that we start looking at the other things that we're going to need to consider in October in the colder month, like bleeding our radiators, like making sure our boiler is covered. The blog I've posted does promote a specific boiler insurance company, Home Emergency Assist. They're rated 4.2 stars on Trustpilot, and they, with their 35% discount code, you can get boiler cover from as cheap as £2.44 per month. Go with them, don't go with them. I don't mind if you go with someone else. The important thing is to get your boiler covered, especially if it's not if it's older than 3 years old. Try and get some boiler cover. And that's just because if it does break down in the winter, the last thing you need is a few £100 for a repair, or worst case scenario, a couple of grand for a brand new boiler. If you have the insurance, at least that will cover the majority of the cost, if not all of it. So I think that's an important thing to be looking at now. Additionally, you want to be checking for drafts in your homes. You want to be making sure that your freezers are turned down, set to the right settings, making sure you're leaving your ovens open when you finish cooking to spread the heat around. And I've received some other good tips as well, like there are these foils you can put behind your radiators, which reflect the heat back into the room so that it's not absorbed into the brick, and makes your heating more efficient, which is a great idea. There's a few others. I'm going to post them in a blog on my website over the weekend, so keep an eye out for that. Well, I think that's everything on that. The only other thing I wanted to talk to you about was a bit of an announcement. This is one I was mentioning at the start, and that's that I'm going to be closing down the headroom allowance and EBIT petition. It's been open for about 3 years now, and we've got the letter out to Ofgem demanding that they now do the headroom allowance. So I'm going to keep the petition open until probably Christmas, until we've got a response from Ofgem on that. But I'm just going to be posting to it less and giving you guys a bit of a breather, because I know I've been posting to it a lot over the last 3 years. And it feels like it's coming to an end where we've not really made any traction with Ofgem on this. We've not been focusing on it as much because there are so many other things wrong with Ofgem that we're focusing on. So if you do want to keep up to date with all the Ofgem consultations or anything that I'm doing in the energy industry, please do go to theregulatorguy.co.uk and subscribe to my newsletters or subscribe to my blog. Effectively, 15 minutes after I post a blog update, you guys will receive an email with that update. Or you can sign the other petition that I've got. I'm going to keep that one open for a little while longer because I'm still working on that Ofgem report. And before I close this petition, I will be starting another petition. There are a few things, a few ideas that I have on basically a few wrongs that I've seen that need righting. And unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to take them all on. So in the next week, I will post a blog with the list of suggestions that I have. I will post it to you guys on the headroom and EBIT petition. That's the large one with 350,000 signatures. I'll post it to you guys, and you can all vote just by emailing me and telling me which one you want. I'll count up the votes, and I'll go where I'm directed effectively. That's the point of the regulator guy, to help fix the most wrongs, or to help people that see the most wrong in the industry, in any industry really. So, and if you have specific ideas, please do email me before then at richard@theregulatorguy.co.uk. Email me your suggestions. They might be what's already on my list. They might be something new that I think, hey, that's a popular idea. People want to see that righted. I will do that. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that this petition will be closing down sometime around the Christmas mark, and that communications to that petition will be slowing down over this period. If there's any major updates from Ofgem in that next 3-month period, obviously I may change my mind on it and we'll keep it going, but I don't believe there will be. I kind of believe Ofgem are going to say that they've changed their calendar and that they won't be considering headroom allowance anytime for the next 2-3 years, in which case we'll reopen the petition then. All right, that's everything from me. As I said, I'm not going away. It's just the one petition I'm closing down so I can focus on other things that are more pressing. If you do want to keep up to date with everything I'm doing, go to theregulatorguy.co.uk, subscribe to my newsletters, and make sure you go back to your own email. You have to verify your subscription. So it may have gone into your junk, it may be in your inbox. Just have a look for it and go through the verification process. It's just clicking a link to make sure it's a real email address. It's everything from me. If you have any questions, email me. I will be back after the weekend with some updates on the Ofgem report. That's primarily for the other petition, the one that's got 75,000 signatures. If you haven't signed that yet, please do. The more support we can get prior to publishing this report, the better it will be. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.